Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending today's webinar on optimizing your quality business intelligence. Today, you'll be hearing from Craig Manning and Wes Peterson as they provide an overview of Olenix QBI solution. Today's session will be recorded and will be made available to you on Olenix.com afterwards. We'll be accepting questions through the chat window of GoToWebinar. So if any questions come up, please feel free to type those directly into the chat window, and we will leave 10 minutes at the end of our session to review questions from the audience. And without further delay, I'll pass to Wes to get us started.
Hello, and happy Thursday. My name is Wes Peterson. I've been with Olenix for a little over 2.5 years as a software developer, and I am the lead senior developer for the Quality BI project that we're going to present to you today. Glad you could all join.
Good morning, everybody. This is Craig Manning. Wes and I are partnering on this together. As you can see, I've been with Olenix for a little over 7 years, and I am the senior lead for Olenix Quality Business Intelligence tool. And Wes and I are going to walk you through a little bit of a deck today in our presentation, and then it'll lead into a demo. So just to kind of cover all of our bases, this is the agenda we're going to cover today. Wes is going to go over a brief overview of what Quality BI is, and then do the overview of from a technical perspective. I'm going to dive into a demo and a little bit of our product roadmap. I'll provide you an implementation timeline, and as Virginia had said earlier, we'll leave some time at the end for discussion and questions. To kick things off, I want to give you a little bit of background of who Olenix is. Obviously, we've been around for 22 years. We are the largest U.S. headquartered software quality specialists. We have a global footprint. We have offices here in Chicago, which is where we're based out of. We also have a Philadelphia office, Belfast, and then also Buenos Aires. Obviously, we focus on a lot of different areas across the project delivery spectrum. This gives you a little bit of understanding of our core service offerings, our capabilities, and the deliveries of method that we have. Just wanted to give you a high-level overview of what Olenix is, what we stand for, and things that we can help your organization out with. So with that, I'm going to kind of hand it over to Wes, and he's going to walk you through a little bit of what Quality BI is. Wes?
All right, so Quality BI defined. What is Quality BI? Well, Quality BI is a combination of two streams coming together. On the left, we have business intelligence, and on the right, we have quality data. Now, business intelligence in general often includes things like technology, strategy, and analysis. These components help drive change, eliminate inefficiencies. Ultimately, BI delivers information to help make smart business decisions. Now, the other side of this stream is quality data. The need for quality data is actually what gave life to this Quality BI product. The challenge we faced was we wanted to obtain business intelligence with some of our Azure DevOps and ALM projects. We just didn't have a means to extract that information easily. So it was always go here for this metric, go to this page for this value, do X, Y, and Z in an Excel macro to get that. And that is where Olenix's many years of valuable reporting experience came into play. We applied that knowledge to developing a service that turned that problem into a solution. With Quality BI, information is easily extracted from a data source like ADO or ALM, and then transformed into a more useful and time-saving custom reporting solution. We no longer depended on the static, clumsy, out-of-the-box reporting options offered by some of these applications. We can now build reports that deliver validated quality business intelligence. So let's go on to the next slide where we can talk a little bit more about the character of Power BI. So first, it's a contributor to success. It's a custom solution that is meant to give you an easy-to-read status report in a single location. The report is built for your needs, which will directly aid your project's success. It's also a time saver. Quality BI cuts down on the number of locations you need to visit to see your information. There's no need to pull up your test execution burn down in a buried deep link within ADO and then Search your inbox for an email containing the latest defect rates. Those metrics could be found in the same Quality BI report, reducing time, saving money. Quality BI also supports centralized reporting. Now, I don't just mean centralizing your test execution burn down and defect data in one location. I mean projects using separate testing platforms such as Azure DevOps and ALM can be centralized and standardized across your organization in one location. Now, moving to the upper right, each Quality BI report is customized with Power BI. So if you're familiar with Power BI, you'll know it's very interactive, useful, and customizable to help your reporting needs. Quality BI also gives you direct data access. So maybe you're not that impressed with Power BI reporting, or maybe you already have a custom reporting solution. You want to hook Quality BI into that. Not to worry. Quality BI information is securely stored in a data warehouse where you can write custom queries to extract and explore your information even deeper. And finally, actionable insights. Very important in business intelligence. Visibility into a project's burn down rate where you can slice and dice team, sprint, priority, release, or whatever really is important to you, while also alerting you to poor test coverage in certain areas, is a tremendous tool to make real-time actionable changes to help your projects succeed. All right, so let's move on to see how it works. Quality BI is based off a procedure commonly referred to as ETL, extract, transform, and load. The first phase is extract, and this is what you're seeing right here. This is where the Quality BI data collectors extract your project data from your source, whether that's Azure DevOps or an ALM project. This is where we pull things out like requirements, test data, defects, etc. The second phase is the transformation layer. We can move on to that. There we go. This is where your data is saved into the Quality BI data warehouse. This is an extremely powerful step. This is where rules, functions, or data normalization steps can be applied. For example, normalizing your Azure DevOps severity levels to also match your ALM severity levels. So when an executive is viewing the report, they don't need to know that in one system, a severity level of 5 is something very high, where maybe in a different system, a level of 5 is very low. The values can be mapped in Quality BI to provide context for someone unfamiliar with the project's terms. So this step reduces the need for people to know each project's details intimately and helps quicken the learning curve to make actionable decisions based on project metrics. And moving on to the final phase, which is load, the load step takes the Quality BI data warehouse information and places it into your Power BI reports. The Power BI reports can be shared, viewed, and even embedded into other dashboards. So bringing this all together in the next slide, the ETL process of extract, transform, and load delivers your Quality BI solution. Now I'll turn it back on over to Craig to demo some of the sample reports.
All right, thanks, Wes. So what I'm going to do now is let me switch my screen, and I'm going to show you our dashboard. So just to give you an example, this is our Quality BI dashboard. This one that I'm showing right now is an example of data that's coming from ALM. So with ALM, you can see on this dashboard, it kind of centralizes a lot of the critical information you're going to need at a project level. Real quick here, it's going to give you your start and your end date, your completions, your open defects, and a little bit of rundown of your current execution status, some defect aging, and then it gives you a burn up chart right here. The nice thing about what our Quality BI dashboard allows you to do is it allows you to interact with the data. So you'll see here, this says your release and your cycle information over here. So with the release and the cycle information, I'm going to change the release a little bit to a different cycle. And what that will allow us to do is maybe go into, we want to look at another release. And here there's multiple cycles that we can kind of select through. And as you can see, as I interact with the data, my chart, my burn down or burn up chart over here is going to change, as well as my execution status, aging of the defects. But to get even more granular with your analysis and in your project team meetings, If I hover over the completed executions or the open defects, you see how they turn blue here. Well, what that means is that these are hyperlinks, and I can drill down deeper to get some more granular information that's going to be helpful. So for execution status, maybe I want to look at all of the ones that are currently in a pass rate. So I click on passed, and now it's just going to give me my passed. Or maybe I want to focus on the failed. From a defect perspective, this is where I think the breadth of it really comes into play. You can drill down into your defects by a lot of different categories, whether it's severity, application, team, time to close. And again, you still have that flexibility of, let me look at anything that's open. So again, it's going to show me my 2 open defects down here. Again, the source system for all of this information is going to be whatever that source system is, whether it's ALM or ADO or whatever your project team is using. But this gives you some details of when you refer back to those source systems, of which defect you may need to look and drill down a little deeper into. So this is just an example from an ALM perspective. We also do have an ADO perspective sample. So this, again, ADO, some terminology changes. Instead of release and cycle, there's iteration and area. From that, we can go in here and let's just drill down to a couple of January and February. So now you can see, instead of a burn up chart, we have our burn down chart. So again, same flexibility, gives you all of that quick one-stop view of your information that's specific to your project team. So you can have very candid conversations during your, whether it's your daily project meetings or stand-ups or weekly, whatever the cadence that you have is. So I'm going to go back to our presentation here. What we thought we can do is we can provide you a little bit of a roadmap of how Quality BI came to be for us. So we implemented our first iteration of Quality BI just about a year ago. It was about November of 19. Obviously, we've made some progress since then, have done multiple implementations of this tool. And it's really been very helpful for our clients to get a handle of what's going on with their projects and have that one-stop shop. However, we do believe in enhancing the product throughout the course. So you'll see it here. We do have enhancements that are pretty much scheduled on a quarterly basis. Some of the things that we've already completed is bringing it to that one centralized dashboard that we were demoing previously. And then obviously, because this information is coming from data sources, there's a refresh schedule that we're going to do. So we've made enhancements to our data refresh schedule. Some of the roadmap items that we have is getting more granular execution by groups and teams, tracking build management, and then the one we're really excited about is our portfolio management, which again is looking to be a 2021 delivery, but it's something that I think is very quickly going to be on the horizon for us. So what are the benefits Quality BI brings to the table? Some of them we touched upon earlier in the presentation, but really it's that interactive, being able to interact with your data. Having those that at your fingertips, whether it's your daily stand-ups, your weekly meetings, whatever your cadence is for your particular project team, being able to interact with the data really brings a lot of insight to your project of maybe some things that are going very well, or maybe focus on some things that aren't going so well, so you can plan out your execution and your plan of attack more appropriately. Quality BI dashboard integrates with Microsoft Teams. In the world we live and work in these days, collaboration is very big. So from a report distribution, integrates with Microsoft Teams. If you have a team set up within Microsoft Teams, you can easily add this as a tab. Anybody on that will then have access to the dashboard, and they can click on it pretty quickly. And it really helps streamline the distribution of this for ease purposes. You have validated metrics. We touched upon this a little bit earlier, but just to go deeper into this, is that what we bring to the table is some proven industry metrics across multiple industries and projects. So these are metrics that we've used throughout the course of our experiences with our clients and have really been successful for us. It is an exportable dashboard. We understand that when you have these dashboards and you have your project team meetings, not all of your key stakeholders are going to be at every single meeting. So you may have to export this information and share it out, even if it's for a manager, for a management report. It has the ability to export either into PowerPoint or PDF, whatever format you would prefer. And then obviously you have a form that can be emailed out or shared however you would like to across your organization to give those key updates. One thing I do like to point out is once you export the information and put it into PowerPoint or PDF, obviously you're going to lose that interactive capability, but that's that's okay because now you're communicating the status of where your particular report is. Custom flexibility. So we talked a little bit about this earlier. The dashboard is customizable. So if there are metrics that are near and dear to your organization, then let's talk about those. We can add those into the dashboard and get the dashboard to work specific for your organizational needs. And then centralized dashboard. This is bringing all of the metrics that are important into one centralized area that you can review. And I know Wes talked about it a little bit earlier. Yes, there are some, whatever tool that you're utilizing, there are absolutely canned reports that come along with those tools. But having it in one centralized dashboard, the leverage that it gives you is that you're not going from dashboard to look at multiple different metrics that are going to help move your project in the right direction. You now have all of that information at your fingertips. So from an implementation timeline, there's really 3 stages that we believe that we've executed over the years that are going to help drive this in a seamless process for your organization. So it's really 3, and the 3 stages are engage, connect, and deploy. So the first stage, which we're talking about, the engage, is our quality BI team will work with your project team to review the current tools and metrics that are in use for your organization to make sure that we understand what is happening right now. And then once we understand that, we can connect. We can start making the data connections from your data source into our QBI framework. And then what that's going to really help us do is make sure that, one, we're grabbing all the appropriate metrics and data points that are being utilized in your data source. And if there's any customized, because we know that when we set projects up, there are certain fields that we have in ALM or ADO or whatever your tool that you're utilizing is, that we really need to help manage our project effectively. We'll make sure that we bring those fields over as well. The last part is deploy. So after we make all the connections with the data, we have that in our QBI framework. We're going to start visualizing that data in our QBI, our quality BI dashboard. So I would say from start to finish, the engage, connect, and deploy process is going to average about 2 to 4 weeks, depending on complexity of the project and the organization. So with that, I want to kind of bring it all together now. So quality BI, as Wes has talked about earlier at the onset of this call, it really came out of a need for Olenek. And we looked for ways that we can extract this information and have it a little bit more functional for our project needs. Yes, we have used this for our clients in multiple instances over the year, and it's been very beneficial for us. And we think that this is something that's going to help give your organization a lot more insight to your current projects, of where they currently stand right now and how you can get them to where they want to be. So I'm just going to kind of pause here, and I'm going to hand it over to Virginia in case there's any questions or discussion that we want to get into, kind of based on the material that we've presented up to this point.
Okay, yes. So we will have 10 minutes remaining to see what questions the audience has. So let's see, I'll get to, so first, how does the Microsoft Teams integration work? And I'll hand that one over to Craig.
Yeah, absolutely. I can explain a little bit about that. So with Microsoft Teams, what that allows you to do is once the Power BI or the Quality BI dashboard has been created through Power BI, I should say, you're basically creating what they call an app version of that. And once it's in an app version, you can easily share that with your team. And in fact, let me just pull it up here because I actually have an example. This is an example of our teams within Olenek. So down here, we have our quality BI coordinator, QBI coordination team, and I have an ADO and an ALM example. So if I click on those, it's going to give me an icon for Power BI. And what this does is it automatically is going to bring up the report. And these are going to be very similar to what we just demoed before. So you have all the same functionality where you can drill down into different iterations and releases. So you have that interactive capability. It just sits on your Microsoft Teams team, and you can access it at any time, real time. Again, the information is at your fingertips. And then again, just like all the other team functions that are out there, if you need to chat with somebody, you can refer to this, send it over, whatever's easiest for your organization.
Yeah, very cool. And the next question we have, I will turn this one over to West. Do you leverage the Azure DevOps connector in Power BI to extract ADO data?
Sure. Yeah, I can handle that. So the quick answer is no, we do not. We use the Azure DevOps API to extract all the data we need. We actually get this question a lot when discussing why people can't just use the built-in Power BI connector and create their own reports. And really, the short answer is it's just not as extensive enough and didn't satisfy a lot of our needs. For example, some of the information we need out of ADO is something like the relationship links between work items is not available with that built-in connector. And extracting things like a full list of iterations or area paths is not also available. Just to name a few things, a few limitations. There's also the whole beta thing. However, I believe it might be in a stable release now, but for the longest time, we just couldn't trust that connector. It would randomly change and potentially be deprecated entirely. So ultimately, putting the data in our our quality BI data warehouse was just faster. We could customize that much more, and it was just easier at standardizing some of the lookup values to satisfy the multi-project portfolio look. So that's some of the reasons why we decided not to use that existing Power BI connector tool.
So here is a question we have. How does licensing work? And would I also need existing Power BI licenses? And I will turn this one over to West.
Sure. Yeah, great question. So the out-of-the-box quality BI solution delivers its reporting through Power BI. So within Power BI, whenever you publish anything to a default cloud workspace, each user that's viewing that shared Power BI report would need a Power BI Pro license, which is a small cost per month that each individual corporation would have to incur. However, if you decided to upgrade to a Power BI Premium workspace, that is a flat cost per month as far as for the entire organization, but you would no longer need a Power BI Pro license per user. However, if you decided to go in a different route other than Power BI and still wanted to implement the quality BI data warehouse, the quality BI data warehouse, assuming it was hosted by Olenek, would be free of charge.
I'll turn this one over to West. So our team has struggled in the past to identify requirements and test coverage. How does quality BI solve this?
Good question. So yeah, there are a few ways that quality BI does solve this. And I just want to stress before I answer this, it's really up to how you use your data and how you've trained your team to use your data within a system like ADO or ALM. And this question will be discussed during the early stages, probably during the engage or connect phases that Craig reported on earlier. And again, the process will depend if you're using ADO or ALM. Within ALM, you have basic things like linked defects within test cases. And in ADO, it becomes a little bit more complex. You have linked work items together, not only by work item type, but also by relationship. So by that, I mean, you might have a bug that's linked to a test case with a relationship of tested by, or you might have a bug linked to a test case with a relationship of duplicate. Now, the question becomes, do you want to include that test case that's linked by like a duplicate towards the overall coverage? So those are just some of the questions that we'll make sure we address before we start applying the coverage rules. But at the end of the day, it's quality BI that extracts these links to see if your requirements or test cases or defects have the proper coverage, or maybe even more importantly, the lack of coverage. So one of the quality metrics we offer in our playbook includes ad hoc defects. So ad hoc defects are defects found during your formal testing phase. However, a test case was never created for that test during that the requirements and the user story phase. So this is important to identify those areas, especially in a methodology like waterfall, where you were supposed to have identified all of those test cases early on. And the ad hoc defect metric helps you identify where time may be wasted later. So Quality BI offers several metrics to help you visualize where these flaws are, and again, it's a customized solution based on what your needs are.
Okay, thank you, West. And then this next question, I will hand over to Craig. How often does the data refresh from the source system?
That really can happen at your organization's need. We can set schedules up that this is going to happen on a continual basis throughout the course of the day, depending on what your project needs are. We've had projects where it'll refresh, once a day, but most of our projects are probably around 4 to 5 times. But again, whatever your needs are, we'll set that schedule up. And again, that would happen in the engage phase of our initial implementation.
Okay, and so we just have a couple more questions. I will turn this one over to West. So you mentioned ADO and ALM a few times. Does Quality BI dashboard also connect with Jira?
Yeah, great question. So in its current state, we haven't yet hooked it into Jira for Quality BI. That doesn't mean it's not possible. Very similar to ADO and ALM, Jira does expose a REST API, and another reason why Quality BI is so powerful is because as long as there is that into whatever system, if it's ADO, ALM, or Jira, and there's a way for us to discover and extract that information, we can hook it into Quality BI. So for the most part, when you're looking at a Quality BI report, similar to the ones we showed earlier, you don't really need to know if it's an ADO or ALM report. So that kind of flow would also work very nicely with Jira once that connector is hooked in.
All right, thank you, Wes. And then our final question, I will turn over to Craig. How applicable will this be to smaller clients, and is this a service we leave running after we are done at that client?
Yeah, this is really the size of a client or organization. This can be applied across the board. I think size of the organization doesn't necessarily matter, because what this dashboard provides you is it provides you to get insight into your particular project and what's going on with it. And in the world we live in right now, we're collaborating and getting projects done in a timely and efficient manner. That's important to all organizations. So I would say that, yes, it absolutely can apply across the board to any size organization. And what was the second part of the question, Virginia?
It was, is this a service we leave running after we are done at that client?
Yeah, good question, Virginia. In regards to Quality BI is a product that Olenek offers. It's not necessarily a service. It is a product that we can leave behind at our clients if we are no longer engaged. There will be some maintenance and support that will be required to support that product. But yes, it is absolutely something that can be maintained at a client after our engagement has ended.
All right. So thank you, Craig and West, for answering those questions.
Absolutely. And let me just kind of close it out here before we kind of wrap up. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us and learn a little about Quality BI. We look forward to continuing the conversation with you and your organization and how we can support your needs. Obviously, what I have up on the screen right now is I know a lot of different people are joining from a lot of different areas. Feel free to reach out to your specific account manager or any of the people listed here to get more details on that, and they will absolutely bring Wes and I and the rest of the Quality BI team in to start, engage, connect, and deploy Quality BI in your organization.
Okay, well, thank you, Craig and West, and thank you all for attending this morning's webinar. As I mentioned, this session will be made available to you on the Olenek website. And also, you can see at the bottom of this slide the subscribe to our newsletter link. So by subscribing, you will receive the recording of this webinar via email and also our latest blog content every other week as well. And if you have any additional questions, as Craig mentioned, please feel free to reach out to your Olenek account manager for follow-up. And thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.